So this is the piece that I want to share with you now that I believe has helped me with most things in my business. You know, there are a lot of aspects that I can share about events, like how to market it, how to position it, how to brand it, how to title it. But the one thing I believe when I looked at my journey over the last years, the one thing that has helped me, and the one thing that I still use now every day, even to do this, to present now, I'm using a content framework. It's something that I use all the time. Every time I speak somewhere, every time I explain something to one of my team members, I use this. Every time I write an article for someone, I write for a few publications, I use this. And so I thought, if I can share this with you, I reckon 99.9% of you guys will be super duper stoked, and 0.01% might just say, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. So are you guys excited about this? Yes. You don't know yet. You don't know yet, but I love your enthusiasm. I love your enthusiasm. And then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this with you. It'll be really quick. And then I'm going to get you guys to apply it. Every single person is going to apply it to something. And then I'll have something else for you. And then someone who is quite brave will come up here and apply this framework to one of the topics that they know. Is that cool? Yeah, we're going to get some stage action, maybe even 2 or 3 people. We see how we go with time. But it would be fun. It would be fun to have a few people. So here's how this works. I'll draw it here for you. So maybe, can you see this? So maybe just copy it and follow along, and then I will also have it on the screen slightly differently, so you can take a photo of the screen also. So this is a framework. It's got 4 parts. This is a framework. I adapted this to how I use it now. Some psychiatrists years and years ago created some sort of a formula which I based this on. I actually don't remember who the person is, but it was a psychiatrist that studied how we learn. So it's a person that studied how do people learn and how do people stay engaged, and this is how it's based on. And the reason why I love this is because when you know this, you can talk about any topic. Like even now, because I've never presented on this topic before, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. It just comes, but I'm not worried because I'm following this framework. Ever since stepping onto the stage, except for taking off shoes, it's not part of the trick. Ever since stepping on, I've just followed this, and I can just relax because it doesn't matter what comes as long as I follow my framework. The other thing that this does is it makes sure that you guys stay engaged. So let me show you how. Falling over without high heels would be more embarrassing. Make a better story. Okay, so the first part of your, when you present content to an audience, is you have to always start with the why. So this is when you do a speech like now, or you run a workshop. It could be a 3-hour workshop or longer. You always start with the why. When you write an article for someone or for your own business, you start with the why. And in the why here, the reason why we need the why is because we need people to pay attention. If I had jumped straight into giving you this framework without telling you why this framework is so magical, you would have gone, yeah, okay, I might pay a little bit of attention, or I might just pay attention to social media. So first, you always give the why. Now, here, what you include in this part is you can include some stats. So you can say, did you know that 50% of small businesses fail in the first 3 years? It's probably higher because they don't have a coach. So you can start with some stats. They have to be true, of course. You don't make them up. You just Google them. Go into Google. Google knows. So you can use stats. You can also use quotes. I've used a quote on you. Remember I used a quote on you in the beginning? It's Aristotle, or however you pronounce his name. Aristotele. How do you guys call him? Yeah, I'll stay with Aristotle. So you can use quotes. You can use any fancy people. It's always good to sort of stand on the shoulders of giants. It's good to use quotes of people that people love. You can also add a few benefits of your topic. So let's say you talk about the 7 pitfalls of leadership. Some of you are leadership consultants. And then you might say, why this topic is so important. You might say, this topic is important because in this world we don't actually get to practice our leadership skills, or we often are managers and then we suddenly become leaders without the skills, etc. So you can add some benefits and reasons why. Also case studies. So here in this part you can use some case studies. So you can say, once, the other day I was talking to Johnny, or I was working with Johnny, one of my coaching clients, and he really struggled with whatever your topic is. He really struggled with his relationship, if you're a relationship coach. And so what we did with him is blah. So you can share some case studies. It's just to engage the person. And you can also tell stories. I used a story on you guys earlier. Remember the story of being in Nepal and getting the namaste moment. So that's using a story. That's the first part. When you do a presentation, it's perfect. Now, the reason why I also like for you to use this framework today and forever is because sometimes a really easy excuse not to run an event or not to present is because you don't know what to talk about, or you don't know how to talk about what you want to talk about. This is helping you. The second part is what. So what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? So I might start off saying, let's use the example. I was only here earlier for like 10 minutes, and then I had to go do something with Pauli, with this motorbike shoot that now he showed everyone the photo. So I was here for 10 minutes, and I saw Michael, and he spoke about turtle throwing. Remember? Turtle throwing? And I thought, with the song, but it was like 30 names or something. So I thought, okay, and I just picked out, turtle throwing, and said, okay, why don't we use this example here? So let's say I want to talk about turtles throwing turtles. Do you guys remember the song? Yeah. Do you have the song still there? So he was talking about throwing turtles. So let's say I'm just using a random example so you can see that this applies to anything and anything, and even if you're totally unprepared. So today I'm going to do a presentation on throwing turtles. Now, in the US alone, 30% of people dream of throwing turtles. Now, the benefits of throwing turtles is... Yeah, there it is. This is a good song, actually. You've been running around. How did Michael move like this? Okay, so 30% of people really want to throw turtles. Now, the benefits about throwing turtles is that it takes the anger out of you. So when you're about to punch someone... So you can see how this works, right? Now... this applies to everything and anything. You can talk about anything and you will sound like an expert. I sound like an expert, right? Now here, you're going to de-jargon. So if you have any jargon or any definitions that you need to share here, you do this here. So here I might say, by throwing turtles, what I mean is it's actually a game. It's an Olympic game that got invented in 1891. And it's a game that the Chinese started, but then it took off in America. So I just explain the what. She's losing it. I love you. She loves the turtle throwing thing. It's going to take off. This is a live stream. This turtle throwing thing, don't throw turtles. It's not my fault. I love turtles. Do not throw turtles. This is a safety thing. Kids, if you're watching, never throw your turtles, okay? Next. So this part here is really quick. This part here, how long is this? So let's say 100% is the whole talk. What do you think how long this part here is? How long do you need to do the why? Hey, can I take off the jacket now that I have you in stitches? Okay. Can I have some music? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is not my, my day job and night job. I don't have a night job. Okay. So, how much did you say? How much percentage here? 10? 20? Yeah, it's hard to guess because you don't know yet, because you don't know what's coming yet. But this can be, trick question, this can be anywhere between 20 and 30. Here's how you know when you stop. But you will learn this as you do this more and more. So how I know when I stop, when I basically shut my trap, and when I know I need to move on, is only when I know people are engaged. If people are on their devices and they're not paying attention and they're talking, which hopefully doesn't happen too much, I know I don't have them engaged. And I don't have them engaged because they don't care. If they don't care, they're not paying attention, I need to give them more why they should care. So usually, this is a finesse. Like you start learning this as you do this. But for now, 20-30%, if you start seeing people drift off or lose attention, you just give them more why. Just have enough of this on the side. Now, then you do a quick one here. This is super short. This is like 5%, 5 to 10%. You do the what it is. What am I going to talk about? So today I'm talking about turtles throwing turtles. And then this part here, if it's a workshop, is your biggest part. This part here is where you explain exactly what they need to know. This is your how. So how do I do this? How do I become a better leader? So this could be, if it was a leadership talk, the 7 characteristics of really successful leaders. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So in the how, now I explain what are these characteristics and how can I apply those. It's the how. So in the turtle game here, I might say why turtle is so cool, and then what is it, and then how do I do it? Number 1, you buy a turtle. Number 2, you buy another turtle. Number 3, you invite your friends. Number 4, you throw the turtle and you see who can throw further. Whatever the game is. It's really bad. It's a stupid game. Who invented that game? I don't know who invented that game, but that person needs to really be slapped. So here, you just talk about how you do something. Right now, in this presentation, where am I in this framework? Yeah, I'm in the how, because I'm explaining to you how to use this framework. In the beginning, I gave you why pay attention, why events, why should you run events. Now I'm giving you the how. But every now and then, here's a cool thing about the how. Every now and then, I give you a little why again, just to make sure you're still paying attention. But again, this is like a finesse. You just use the framework once first, and then start piling on the extra tips that I give you. So I give you how, and then when I see, people are sort of losing maybe interest, I just give them a quick why this is so cool. Why is it so cool? Now, another thing that I want to share here with you. Let's say I have 3 tips to, say I'm a relationship consultant, coach. I have 3 tips to have the most amazing relationship with your partner, with your romantic partner. Now, the first tip is always be honest. Always be upfront. So that might be my first tip. And I'm not a relationship, I'm making this up. So, clearly. Now, here, what you can do is, for the first tip, let's say you got to always be honest. You have to have honesty and openness. Now here, I can use this whole framework as a mini framework. So I can say, hey, it's all about honesty. Why? Because when you have honesty, you will have trust. When you have trust, blah, blah, blah. As Albert Einstein said, the most amazing relationships are the ones that blah, whatever. I love Albert Einstein. He's cool. And then he say, what? So what is honesty? What do I mean by honesty? By honesty, I mean that you just openly share what you think. And then I say how. So how do you have open honesty in your relationship? So can you see how you can apply this whole thing in one step in the how? Does this make sense? Yes. Can I get a little uh-huh? Good. So that's the how. That's the biggest part. And then the last part, number 4, is just next steps. So what do you want them to do next? Can be a call to action. Can be your pitch also if you're selling. That's usually at the end. It can be an exercise. You might want them to do an exercise. So now, guys, right now, I've got some turtles outside. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go and practice this game. Can be an exercise, can be anything. Can be next step. So let's say exercise, Q&A. We're going to do some Q&A today at the end. I think we'll have some time. Q&A. It can be your pitch, so your sales pitch. Just what do you want them to do next? Does this make sense? Do you love this? Yes. Is this freaking awesome? Yes. this, I'm a walking billboard of this in my head. Like this is in my head. I talk like this to people, especially if I want to pitch something. In myself, when I sell, more like when I sell to large, so for the branding agency, they're more like bigger, 50 grand up to 100 grand contracts. My pitch is always this. When I need to pitch for work, for bigger work, I use this. But this also works for clients. Just why first, and then what are we talking about here? How are we going to work together? And now what's the next step? Now, here's something, I'm going to share this with you, but I just want you to be aware of it. I don't ever like doing that. But you will be aware of it now so you can see if someone is doing it. Sometimes, not here, because here it's all, the brief from Achid is to just share your everything. Give your best shizzle, give your best stuff. I'm trying not to swear too much on stage because it's not so classy. I love swearing. In my language, it's really cute. So here, this doesn't happen, but sometimes when you go to an event with different speakers that is not high class like this, you just hear people only do this. So pay attention. Sometimes when you go to an event where people are trying to sell you something, they just do this. So let's say you have a 60-minute talk, 45 minutes they do this. Why you're fucked, why your life is crap, why you're going to die, why all this stuff. There's basically fear tactics. Why this is the end of the world, why the earth is not round, why the earth is flat, why there's an edge, all this crap. And then, when you're scared, they give you a quick how you can fix your problem. And I have 5 steps for you to fix all your problems, but I'm only going to give you 1. And then you can come buy from me. So this is they still use this, but they use it in a very unethical way. So don't ever do that. Just trust that if you give enough how, people will walk away with enough value to implement, and the ones that still want to work with you, they will come. So even when I sell, we have this 3.5-hour workshop where it's sort of our sales workshop, but it's 3 hours and 15 minutes of content. So it goes through this, but the main part is the how. So it's a marketing workshop, and then 15 minutes at the end, I share with them how they can work with us. It's just more ethical than doing only this. But pay attention to how speakers sometimes just do this, and you walk away thinking, okay, I'm fucked, I need to work with this person.